Copco Studios in Oklahoma City. You're watching the Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell. We're brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. You can go online right now and order your pizza at papajohns.com. Time for our 5 in 5 segment. We've got 5 topics, about a minute each for that 5 minutes. Let's start with a little game of Are They Right? Let's start with this one, Barry. Is Barry Switzer right? The former Oklahoma coach saying earlier this week during a radio interview that former Texas A&M quarterback Johnny Manziel is an arrogant little P word that rhymes with trick. Is he right?
Well, I think he is right. I don't think he meant anything by it. I think Barry Switzer used it as a term of endearment. I think he used it as a way to praise Johnny Manziel. I think he likes Johnny Manziel's attitude. Frankly, if Johnny Manziel had come along 25 years earlier, 30 years earlier, he probably would have been a wishbone quarterback at the University of Oklahoma. He fits in, with some of Switzer's characters. Switzer didn't shy away from sort of self-promoting really great ball players, Brian Bosworth, Jamel Holloway, guys with flair and style. So I think he probably got Johnny Manziel pretty accurately, and I think Switzer sort of likes that.
Well, I think he is right, but I'm not so sure he was speaking in terms of endearment. He did talk about, from what I heard, talking about Johnny Manziel in terms of his privileged upbringing and his family background and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I think Switzer likes his on-field mojo, his on-field arrogance, but I don't know. I think he might have knocked heads with Switzer because the Boz was the Boz on the field. Off the field, he was kind of a different guy. It would be interesting, though. Johnny Manziel and the Switzer Sooners.
If he could play, if he can play for Texas A&M in the 21st century, he could have played for Switzer.
All right, what about this one, Barry? Is Justin Gilbert right? And by right, we mean right for one of the first 15 teams in the NFL draft. The former Oklahoma State cornerback runs a 4.37 in the 40 at the combine. I know that's about your time, Barry, but is he right for one of those top 15 teams?
I can't even see 40 yards in 4.37 seconds. So, hey, Justin Gilbert really produced. And here's the good thing about him. He produced on the field as well. So Gilbert has the best of both worlds. He's got the great numbers at the combine where they don't really measure your ball playing ability. They measure your tangibles. And he's got a great season of tape as a senior at OSU, playing some excellent cornerback, so showing people that he can play at a high level against a series of offenses that throw the ball. So I don't know if he'll make the top 15. He's going to be right there on the edge. Could go anywhere, I think, between 10 and 20. But I think right in there, Justin Gilbert will go in the first round of the draft.
Yeah, he's for sure a first-round guy. I mean, his physical numbers, you knew at the combine this guy was going to be a standout, but I think he's even opened some eyes to some people around the NFL with the numbers he put up. A natural sprinter, was a sprinter in high school, so he's clearly going to excel in those speed drills, and he did. He was fantastic. Wouldn't be surprised if he ran again at OSU Pro Day and in his comfort zone. He might even run faster, Barry. So, yeah, and I think he's showing people a good side of his personality too, his maturity. He stayed that extra year after having a very disappointing junior year. He comes off as a very mature guy. I think he's going to be right for some team in the top 15. I'll say he is right. All right, what about this one, Barry? Is Kendall Thompson right? He announced earlier this week that he's headed to Utah after deciding to leave Oklahoma. The quarterback will have 2 years left as a grad student. Right decision for him?
I don't know. It's dicey. It's very dicey. Here's my thought. If you leave a school that you like and are enjoying yourself, you're just not getting to play, or it looks like you're sort of stymied with playing time, you need to leave for a place where you know you can play. Now, all quarterbacks, all major college football, particularly quarterbacks, have a lot of confidence that they can go somewhere and play. But leaving and going to a major college, a school in a major conference, it's always dicey on the quarterback issue. I think Kendall Thompson has a very good chance to become the starter at Utah, but I'm not sold on the idea. We saw Tommy Grady go to Utah, didn't work out. We saw Drew Allen go to Syracuse, didn't work out. We saw Keith Nickel go to Michigan State. It worked out at wide receiver.
Yeah.
So I think it's dicey. If it works out, it's great. If it doesn't work out, then Kendall Thompson might have been better off staying at Oklahoma.
Well, you got to hope the best for Kendall Thompson because he seemed to do everything right. He just got caught up in a situation where he wasn't the most talented option at quarterback. He wasn't the most talented option when Blake Bell was the guy. He wasn't the most talented option when Trevor Knight was the guy. He just sort of got caught up in a numbers game. And with the number of quarterbacks they've got on campus, here's guessing he's not the last guy who gets caught up in a numbers game. But you hope it works out. I'm going to say it will, because I think his skill set will be good enough to make it work at Utah. But his arm is not as accurate as it needs to be. They definitely need to develop that aspect of his game. He needs to be able to be coached in that aspect of his game. So we'll see. I think the talent's there. But you're right. It's a crapshoot. You just don't know. All right, our fun question of the week, Barry. Hey, what word would you throw a flag on? This is serious in that the NFL is thinking about flagging players for using the N-word on the field. But let's have some fun. What word do you hate that you wish could be flagged in real life?
Well, there's about 100 I would like to get rid of that, on a serious nature. On an unserious nature, on a totally personal level, I would get rid of the word railroad. Because of the word railroad has plagued me for these many years. Second, third grade, me and my good friend Scott Crown, we were placed together in our own little speech class. Scott had trouble with his R's. I had trouble with my R's. Railroad was the big hurdle. Most people would say I still haven't climbed that hurdle. The old Okie twang comes through loud and clear when I'm trying to say railroad. So railroad it is.
Railroad is my Russell Westbrook is your railroad. I have trouble. I swear I'm going to stumble over Russell. I did it right there.
Russell?
I did it right
Russell
there.
Westbrook?
Every time. But that's not the word I'd throw the flag on. I'm flagging anxious. To everybody out there that uses the word anxious, this is my grammar nerd coming out, Barry. Everybody that uses anxious, people say, we're anxious for the game. If you're anxious, you're worried. So if you're anxious for a game, you're worried about a game. Please, could we use that correctly? I'm going to start throwing flags on people. And by the way, we found out our good friend Kenzie in our production box hates the word moist.
Some phobias are unexplainable.
I don't know. I don't get it, but there you go. All right, back to the serious stuff. Scale of 1 to 10, Barry. Steven Adams is ready. He's going to start for the foreseeable future because Kendrick Perkins is out with that groin injury. Is the big man ready?
Ready for what? That's the question.
That's the question.
Is he ready to be the starting center in the Western Conference Finals? No. Is he ready for these 17, 18 more games with Kendrick Perkins on the bench? I think so. I mean, I think he's more developed, more advanced than Hasheem Thabeet was a year ago when Hasheem was the backup center. So I think Adams has shown enough that the Thunder can rely on him to be serviceable. He's not going to star. He's not going to dominate. He's not going to make everybody forget Kendrick Perkins no matter how hard they try. Thunder will have some defensive lapses. Adams has already produced more offense than Perk will. But the Thunder will miss Perkins and that defense, already have. But I think Adams is fine for this regular season. I wouldn't want to go into the playoffs thinking he's going to be my man, though.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think he is the center of the future. I just don't think the future is now. I mean, at the very beginning of this season, the way that Steven Adams played, you'd have thought he was ready to be the starter. But we saw that in the long slog of the NBA regular season, he's not quite there yet. He's not quite there in terms of the night in, night out, the physical pounding, the mental taxation that comes with the game. So he's not there yet. I think this is a great test run, though, for him. And I tell you what, there might be some side benefit to Kendrick Perkins, too, Barry. Kendrick isn't a spring chicken anymore. He gets to sit for a while. And I know he's hurt, and you don't want to have an injured starting center, but he's going to rest. He's going to rest those knees and those legs a little bit. Maybe he's even fresher come playoffs. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Hey, be sure and stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.